Thanks for coming, guys. My name is Victor Torres, and I'm running for Superior Court Judge. There's 2 races on June 5th for judge. One has 2 people in it. That's not my race. I'm in the race with 5 people. There's an opponent, the incumbent, the person who's already the judge, is a man named Gary Creep, who has been disciplined for misconduct on the bench. That's why he's got to go. The other 3 challengers are lifelong government lawyers and prosecutors. We already have too many of those on the bench. 2/3 of our bench is full of prosecutors and government lawyers. I'm from private practice. I have my own office. I've had my own office for 26 years. I've practiced criminal defense mainly for 28 years. Started out as a federal public defender and I do mainly criminal cases in federal court. But I also do a lot of state court cases. I've done plaintiffs and civil, and I'm a volunteer judge for the Superior Court in small claims matters. One important thing about being a judge is you got to be impartial and fair to everybody, and I've learned that in the 10 years that I volunteered as a judge. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. You better be able to explain it to the person who's going to lose, and you better be able to look them in the eye, because if you don't, you're doing the wrong thing. There's something wrong. Who am I? I'm born in National City. My family's been in National City for over 90 years now. I went to the Air Force for 4 years after high school because in my family, my father and his brothers were all World War II veterans, and in my family, that's what you do. You serve your country. So I did that for 4 years, got out, came back to San Diego. I went to Southwestern College, University of San Diego, USD Law, and went into private practice. So that's a little bit about me. Why am I the best candidate? Because I'm the one that has the most experience. One of the things that's going to come up is bail reform. People are going to get bail with no money. You want somebody with my kind of experience, 28 years, knowing who's dangerous, who needs to stay in jail, and who doesn't. So with that, I think we're at 3 minutes, and I'll take any questions you have.
Just about. So some questions we had are, why did you choose Superior Court?
Why did I choose Superior Court? Because that's the only one you can run for election. Federal court is appointed by the President of the United States. There's magistrate judges that can get appointed by the federal court, but Superior Court are the only ones that have elections in our state. The reason I picked this seat is because I know who the incumbent is. I opposed him as a private lawyer. I was representing people that were being victimized by his clients, defending a Minuteman.
All right. So our next question is, what message do you wish to convey as Superior Court Judge?
What message do I wish to convey? That I am nonpartisan, that I'm not a Democrat, and I'm not a Republican. I have a broad base of support from people on the left and people on the right. Everybody that comes into my courtroom will be treated fairly and impartially, whether they're a police officer, whether they're not a police officer, whether it's a minor case or millions and millions of dollars.
All right. And our, it seems to be final question is, what qualifications do you have that set you apart from the other candidates?
I think the biggest one that sets me apart, and how much more time do we have?
Just okay. About 6 minutes.
Okay. The biggest thing that sets me apart from the other candidates in this race is that I've been in private practice. As a small business owner for 26 years, I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to try to make sure that your doors stay open so you can serve the people that you are dedicated to serving. I think that sets me apart from Mr. Miller, who was a federal prosecutor his whole life, from Mr. Brower, who's a deputy DA and a Marine Corps JAG, and from Mr. Nader, who is a former mayor of Chula Vista and has worked for the state of California for I don't know how many years. I think it's hard when you are a government lawyer to get on the bench and then treat everybody equally, because you've been used to protecting the police, protecting the government, and I've been doing the opposite. I've been challenging the government. I've been challenging the police. I've been challenging the authority to do what the government does to people when they charge them with criminal cases. That's what I've dedicated my life to: civil rights cases, criminal cases, etc. And in addition, my community involvement. I'm involved with a lot of, I've told some of you already, a lot of different organizations that have to do with not just the Latino community. because I was talking about Border Angels and California Rural Legal Assistance and La Raza Lawyers. But I've also been in leadership positions with the San Diego County Bar, with Lawyers Club, et cetera. So I think those are my qualifications, and I want to thank you for listening. Is that our time?
We still actually have spare time, so we can take more questions.
Who's got another question?
No one wants to speak, you can write on the pieces of paper that we have up front over here.
That's okay, I don't bite hard.
Well, I want to know if you enjoy doing this job and being a Superior Court judge. Do you enjoy that position?
There's good parts to it and bad parts to it. The good parts are there's an opportunity to do justice every day, but I already do that in what I do. The bad part of it is when you're a Superior Court judge, what happens is you tend to get very isolated. And people tend to kind of treat you differently. They don't want to upset you. They don't want you to remember them for any bad reason. And that really sets you apart. And you know, the number of really good friends, like right now I have a lot of friends that we're in practice together. We can talk, mainly we talk about other judges. That changes when you go on the Superior Court bench. So I think that's a challenge. But I think the reward of being able to do justice and make sure that my courtroom runs fairly and impartially for everybody is the real benefit. That's a good question. Anybody else? Come on, man.
You think I have another?
Yeah.
That's a question. Okay. That was my question.
You got one at the tip of your tongue.
Do you think there's any flaws in the Superior Court system right now, and how would you combat this flaw?
Yeah, one of the flaws is that there's not enough resources being put into the really important areas, which are family law and juvenile law. People get divorced, people are getting involved in child custody issues, people are getting in domestic violence issues. They often can't afford lawyers. We have a whole town full of, not full, but there's a lot of people who are, 1 minute? Or just rubbing your nose? Okay. There's a lot of people who can't afford a lawyer. And when they come into court, they don't know how the system works, and that takes a long time. We've got a lot of law students and people that are recently admitted to the bar that don't have work. We've got to find a way to put those people in contact with the people that need services, like in family law, juvenile cases, probate, which is wills and testaments. Those are the underserved, and frankly, when judges get appointed or elected, that's where they usually go, to those departments, because nobody wants to do it. They want to go into the civil department or criminal department, because that's where all the action is. I don't think like that. I think for me, the law on my entire 28 years has been a service profession. I'm here to serve the public. I'm here to serve my clients. Same thing on the bench. We're here to serve the public. What do you think? Okay?
Good answer.
The future lawyer right there. Anybody want to be a lawyer? Thought about it? Considered it? Yeah? Are you a good writer?
1 minute.
Are you a good writer? Okay, it's really important. If you don't like to read and you don't like to write, you probably should choose something else. Because reading and writing are really the most important things for lawyers. That's what we do. Newer lawyers think that the most important thing is to write your questions on an email listserv, but it's not. It's researching and writing that really are the backbone of what we do. We're almost done?
Yeah, we have about 20 seconds left.
20 seconds. Anybody get our 20-second question? Tick tock, tick tock. Very quiet over on this side of the room. Yeah. So how many seniors are in here? And you guys?
Juniors.
Juniors. That's why they're sitting over there. They're afraid of you guys. Cool. Well, I wish you all the luck in the world, and keep doing what you're doing, because this is a very important event. It's the first time I've heard of something like this, and I hope that you guys export it to other schools. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you so much.